Ooh,
Hi,
live.
everyone. We are live. Hi, it's Tanya Peluso, and I'm tuning in from San Diego, and I have an amazing, extraordinary guest with me today, coming all the way from Pisac, Peru, Mr. Javier. And Javier
Hi,
can say
hi.
hi for a minute. There he is. So we've got a little bit of delay today, so if you're tuning in, just bear with us because of the bandwidth down there in Peru isn't the strongest, but we're just so thrilled to have Javier here to talk today about the power of plant medicine. And so to give you a little bit of background, and then I'm going to have him just tell you his story because I always like people to introduce themselves. But Javier, I was introduced to by a very successful entrepreneur up in the Bay Area and said, this is the guy who you need to go work with down in Peru if you want to experience the plant medicines. And so had the opportunity of going and working with Javier back in January. And I brought a group of women down to the retreat center right next to his house, and we got to experience 2 different plant medicines with him. And he holds just the most magical container. He's an incredible emerging spiritual leader. We were just talking about before the call that he's coming out more with his spiritual beliefs. So I'm excited for him to be uncensored on today's Google Hangout. And yeah, I want to have Javier just tell you a little bit about how he's gotten to where he is today, and he has a great story to tell. So welcome, Javier. Thanks for coming out and being live with me today. And why don't you share with us how you've stepped into your role of facilitating the plant medicine down there in Peru?
Hi, everybody. Um, so and I think everybody will resonate with my journey. I used to be a massage therapist for a short while. I was doing rebirthing. I was facilitating a transformational workshop, and so every time that I found something that was valuable for myself, then I would get the wish to share that modality and the gifts that that modality would had brought to me with others. And basically, it was always, a search for what is the most effective tool for transformation, for healing, for expansion, because that's the journey I've been on all my life. So I did drink ayahuasca a couple of times in the States in the 90s, and then in 2004 I came to Peru with a group to go to the jungle for 2 weeks to drink ayahuasca and be on a diet, a so-called shamanic diet. And it was a wonderful experience, one that I needed badly. And and then after the jungle, I came straight here to Pisac for a week, stayed at Pasilus, where you also stayed, before going on a 5-day trek to Machu Picchu on the Inca Trail. And on the last day of the trek, as we were nearing Machu Picchu, I got this idea of studying plant medicine. And I was like, Javier, are you aware that this is not nearly as glamorous as you think? And so, I thought about it. And then finally, um, I came back. I came back to Peru the following year to see if that hunch was something serious or just a passing thought. So this time I went to Iquitos for 2 months, and I totally forgotten why I was there. mainly to see if I really wanted to get into this, because I was just busy surviving the ceremonies. I hadn't drank much ayahuasca until then, so it was still, a tantalizing process. And without even thinking about it, one night during a ceremony, spontaneously, I was in such awe of this medicine that I started speaking to it, which is not an uncommon thing. People speak to ayahuasca, and somehow ayahuasca speaks in our perfect language that we can understand most of the time. And I said, "You're great. I want to work for you." So basically, I was not struck by lightning. I do not come from a long lineage of healers or ayahuasqueros. It was really a desire to work for this medicine, um, and with everybody who feels called to engage with these plant medicines at this time. So here it's an interesting thing. So this has become very, very clear to me in the last couple of months. I was just in the jungle for 3 weeks with my teacher, and seeing how my desire to work for these medicines, the scope of that, and basically comes down to this. One of the main reasons, perhaps the best reason, why I love to work with plant medicine and love to work with people with plant medicine, is that even though I support people in their process quite a lot as best as I can, it's very clear that it's, for me, the process is between the person and the plants, that people have to do their own work. Somebody can be there to support them, to create a space where that process can happen safely and in a supporting way, but the person needs to engage. Unfortunately, there are no magic pills that I've found yet around. But the main reason I like this process is that plants are not interested in selling us another set of beliefs, another dogma, another religion. Because, this is the conclusion that I've come to, because they know that deep within every living creature, every aspect of creation, we all hold the same truths. So they don't have to sell it to us. What they do is they help us cleanse, let go of constructs, beliefs, wounds, what have you, so that we can connect with our deepest essence. And in our deepest essence, we all hold the same truth. And I think that is just so beautiful. And the truth that plants hold is a truth of beauty, of life that is in constant, joyful, erotic on this planet, unfolding. And my feeling is that what we know of as plant teachers, as master plants, you know, such as ayahuasca, San Pedro, peyote, iboga, whatever. They're really spokes plants for the entire um, green realm. And they're the ambassadors of this realm of plants, which is really the most important realm on this planet because they sustain life for all of us. And they speak through these master plans to us. And what they're doing is they're helping us remember how to live on this planet, as opposed to feeling separate and scared by it. Voila.
Wow. Okay, so this is why Javier and I have been connected in this lifetime, because we share so many of the same beliefs, and I have been on that path to find that truth. And working with him, and we can talk about my experience in a little bit, but working with him, everything that you just said, and it's interesting how, you know, over the last couple months of you working with your teacher and going deeper, that you were able to come to some of these realizations. And I think I just want to highlight that I believe, and I titled this Google Hangout, you know, that these plant medicines are what will absolutely transform you and change the world. And I think, here's my belief, and I'd love for you to perhaps go a little bit deeper with this, is right now I feel that we're being called to discover as humanity the truth of who we are. Like, that's what's going to make the change on this planet, is letting go of the delusions, letting go of these belief systems that we've gotten caught in, and really rediscover and remember the truth of who we are, which is what you're talking about, that ultimate truth that we all share. And so the plants help facilitate that, of getting us reconnected with Mother Earth, with that, with harmony, because I believe that that's like the ultimate piece, is how do we get into harmony with what is already there? Like, what is Earth? What is, like, how do we get into harmony with that so that we can create a sustainable planet? I mean, that's the whole name of the game right now, is that we do not destroy what is, what's all around us. You know, how do we become into harmony with that? So I love so much of what you said, and I'd love to hear from you. Any you know, comments that you have on that, around how plant medicine, because there's a lot of prophecies out there right now of ayahuasca is like the thing that's going to shift humanity, because of the power that it's giving people to see the truth, to see beyond the veil of illusion, to let go of those fears that really don't exist except for in our mind, right? So I'll just give you back the floor.
So first of all, and this is something I tell everybody when I first meet them, say, what I tell you is just my opinion. And feel free to dismiss it if it doesn't resonate with you. My deep belief is that no plant, no Messiah is going to save us. We have every bit of information that we need at this time in history in order to move through and beyond it. what I feel is the call is not looking for yet another piece of esoteric information, but to finally have the courage and the strength to embody all this wisdom that we have been submerging ourselves with for the last thousands of years. So the plant medicine process is a very valuable process in that it's about embodiment. We have explored the nature and expression of consciousness, particularly human consciousness, for thousands of years. Indians have masters at deciphering the map of our consciousness. It was a very abstract, oftentimes process. The spirituality of the East is one of transcendence. So to speak, a male process, with the exception of Tantra, which is still very much an esoteric practice, not a common practice. The spirituality here in Peru is one of both transcendence and immanence. It's a spirituality that does not deny the simple fact that we are in a body, in a physical body, physical world, and actually sees all this as a blessing and not just as a nuisance for our spiritual evolution. So there's some of you may be familiar with it, but there's the Peruvian cosmology. Andean cosmology is basically divided in three realms: an underworld, this level of reality, and an upper world, a spiritual realm. And for each of these, there's an animal that is an archetype, that is a cosmic energy. And for the underworld, we have the snake, which is a symbol of all the energies that are just below the earth's crust. And its keywords are healing and wisdom. In this level of reality, the animal is the puma, is the jaguar, because it's the most powerful animal walking on this planet around here. And its keywords are power, strength, and courage. And in the upper realm, the animal is the condor and the eagle. And it's about the spiritual realm and the expanded vision that flying high above enables us to have. And its keywords are divine light and love. And it is said around here that wisdom, without the power and the strength and the courage to embody that wisdom on this earthly plane, isn't worth anything. That wisdom becomes full when it is practiced and embodied. And it is also said that power, strength, and courage without divine light and love can become outright dangerous. So the process that the spirituality here invites us to is to actually merge these three aspects of embodying wisdom and having that embodiment always be showered with divine light and love. And I feel that plant medicine is a very valid tool to come to this place, that it makes us fully aware of our physicality.
Javier, did I lose you? Yep. I think we lost him. So he'll come back on. Connection's not the best in Peru. So while he's coming back on, I don't really want to share about my personal experience with him until he comes back. But I love what he has been saying about the embodiment piece, and how the plants are helping to facilitate that process of becoming embodied. And this, for me, what I found for myself is that so much of what I learned in the past was about that transcendence and was very much in the masculine. And so then the more that I've been able to open my eyes to these different types of vehicles, I guess, and here he is, he's back, I've been able to get into that embodied place, so that it's like holding both that masculine and feminine. And for me, the plants, as the representatives of Mother Earth, you know, are helping with that feminine piece that's missing on the planet. So hopefully he'll be back on in a second. I see his face. Just bear with us. When I was in Peru, there was like barely any internet connection. So I remember we just decided to just take a social media fast for the most part, some of the women, because, you know, the connection was so bad that we're like, hey, we're here to unplug and get away from all of the society and just focus in on our healing. So just taking the technology break. So let's see if he can come back on here. Javier, can you hear me? I see you popping up. I'll tell you while we're waiting for him the story of what led me down to Peru to begin with. I have been having a lot of friends in San Diego who were trying the ayahuasca and inviting me to come participate, and I was like, no, that's not for me. You know, I'm good with my spiritual path. Like, I've got all the tools I need. You know, no thanks. Oh, is that you, Javier? Can you hear me? And so when, oh, can you hear me? Javier? Well, he's coming on here. Um, so I went out to the desert, and I'm scheduled to lead a retreat in India, and I got this during a meditation. I just got a very clear sign that I needed to cancel India, and I needed to go to Peru, and I needed to work with plant medicine. And at first I was like, no, like that's I don't know about that. That doesn't feel like that's a good match. But I listened and I paid attention, and then I asked a couple friends for some recommendations, and boom, within 24 hours I'm connected with the retreat center and with Javier. And so we scheduled to have a conversation over Skype. And Javier,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes,
There
I
you
can hear you.
are.
There I am.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay. So, where were you? Do you remember?
Yes, you talking about the spirituality here in Peru, right?
Yes.
About the
Javier? Okay. Well, he's wandering around his center trying to get reception here. So I get on Skype with Javier, and I'm like, just so you know, I don't know how open I am to this, but I'm having the conversation with you because it's the guidance that I'm getting to come down there. And he had a conversation with me about coming home and how he had come to Peru and come home to himself. And that was the theme from my last retreat that I had led in Sedona in October, just a month before. And I realized that was really what this was all about, was coming home to myself. To no longer be looking out there for the answers, for no longer looking for other people to tell me the answers, but to really trust the truth within myself and to come home to that. And so, since that conversation, I said, yes, this man gets it. He's not about the ego, and he's just facilitating. And that's, I think, a really important part, and something that I really resonate with about Javier is that it's not about him, and it's not about him as the teacher, and he's just that space holder, getting that it's your conversation, it's your work with the medicine, and he's just there to facilitate. For me, that's the true healer. That's what, that's personally like how I like to lead, how my partner, my co-leader, Barry Green, likes to lead, is that we want to empower you to discover the truth of who you are. And the empowerment piece is so critical in our healing, that we can heal ourselves. Just like Javier was saying, that the plants they're not going to save the world. I love that. I love that distinction. That, you know, it's that they are facilitating a process of awareness and clearing that you essentially are doing for yourself. That is the true transformation. That, I think, is the way that we as humanity will make the change that's necessary to be sustainable with the planet. So I'm hoping Javier will be able to come online. If you don't want to wait, you can just watch the recording if he comes back on and we continue our conversation. Otherwise, just bear with us while we deal with the technical difficulties here. Just to share a little bit of that, my experience with Javier during the ayahuasca ceremony. I was having some resistance, and he came over to me, and basically it's interesting because I started my performance piece a couple of weeks ago with this piece of, he comes over to me and has his broom, and he starts patting my belly with the broom and says, breathe into your womb, breathe into your womb. And by him doing that, it facilitated my process of surrendering fully and deeply to the medicine. And so he sang one of the healing songs and was patting me with the broom up and down my legs onto my womb, using my own breath to facilitate a process of me going deeper with the medicine. And it was, you know, for a facilitator to know when is the right time to guide you. When do you need to push someone, give them that little gentle nudge, and let them do the rest, right? And that was the defining moment for me in my journey with the medicine, as I was then able to fully open and had this incredible healing take place as the spirit of my grandmother came, and then the vision of my grandmother's little girl, my mother's little girl, came to unite with my little girl, and there was a unification that happened with my lineage, and then a cutting of the tie, and me literally being annihilated, being sucked up into a black hole at that point. It was a very, very powerful healing experience for me. It was what I came for. A lot of people say that the ayahuasca is like a grandmother energy in and of itself, and you know, it's the feminine. It's Mother Earth, right? If you think about Mother Earth as mother, as grandmother, it would make sense that some of these, I like how he calls them spokesplants, like spokespeople, right? They're spokeswomen, and they are able to facilitate the process. So Javier is calling me on Skype. So let's see if we can, we might have to just add the rest of the interview, and I'll just have to record by Skype. So let's do that. So thank you so much if you've joined us live. I'm going to have to edit this, and I'm going to record the rest via Skype video, add it to this, and so you can watch the rest of the recording on YouTube. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.